Jamie, thank you so much for your time, first of all.
Thank you.
Well, at one point in the movie, Alison tells your character Laurie, you pretend like you moved on.
Yeah.
And sometimes we want to believe we moved on, and sometimes we might not even know we haven't yet. So I was wondering, whenever you want to move on in your life for whatever reason, how do you know you really have, or if you just pretend?
I don't think anybody, we're talking about emotions. We're talking about human feelings. And all of the good trauma help, all of the good mental health support that Laurie Strode got finally after 40 years of suffering. What we're positing in this film is that for 4 years she's had some help. She's done hard work, she's done grief therapy, all of which has yielded a moment for her where she can try to live. Because the only other choice is to die. There is no in the middle.
Right.
And I think what her granddaughter is saying out of anger is you claim to have moved on, but you haven't.
Mm-hmm.
There is no moving on. It is not finite. It is not tangible. It is a feeling that is improving daily. But it can be unbalanced in a nanosecond. It's a very fragile and delicate moment. And it's heartbreaking because that's the truth about trauma and that level of violence perpetrated on people. You can never really move on, can you?
Absolutely, yes, exactly. And there's also another line who really got me. It's like when your character tells us it's up to us to lock the door or to open it to let evil inside.
Yeah.
And very often people are not aware that they are actually inviting evil into their lives. So I was wondering, whenever you have that key, how do you make sure you lock the door to keep everything outside you don't want to let in?
There are some security people that I happen to know who would tell you that if somebody wants to get in, they're going to get in. They just are. Because if not, you're living in a prison. Mm-hmm. A concrete bunker prison, which is not life. Life is about fluidity and openness, and whether or not there are scary elements that you try to protect yourself from or try to stay away from. Ultimately, life is about living freely, open, creatively. And so this is as much a movie about Michael Myers and Laurie Strode as it is about the monsters in all of us. That when you said, how do you let them in? Well, do you have a phone? I have a phone. I'm letting them in. The question, but my secret is I don't read it. See, I have a way of saying, well, it's a free and open internet society. People can reach out and spew their hatred at me, but I don't read it. Mm-hmm. But I think it says much about the monsters in all of us as it is about the monsters in Michael Myers.
Absolutely, yes. And also, two other lines that were really fascinating.
I love that you listen so well that you remember the lines. It's very impressive.
Wow. Thank you so much.
I've never had anybody come in quoting lines like that. I mean, somebody brought up one line, but that's very interesting to me.
Wow, thank you so much. I'm glad to hear that. One line is, they believe whatever they want to believe. And another line was also, they think they know what we went through,
well,
by Alison. And obviously we all go through stuff in life for different reasons. And sometimes strangers really do believe they know better than us what we went through. So I was wondering, whenever you went through stuff, whatever it was, did you ever feel the need to make people understand what you really went through? Were you more like, you know what, let them talk, let them believe what they want to believe.
Yeah.
I know the truth.
So I'm sober coming up 24 years in February, and I'm in recovery, and I go to recovery groups a lot. And one of the great ways we relate in recovery is we share what we're feeling, but we call it our experience, our strength, and our hope. And what it means is, you see, let's say you and I meet in a recovery meeting. My husband right there, you can understand me better that I'm an opiate addict and an alcoholic because I share what my story is and you relate to it because so are you. My sweet husband sitting over there, he's not my real husband, but he's lovely and today he's my husband. He doesn't understand me. Now, he loves me. We are married. We have family. But you are a stranger to me. And you understand me because you've been there. That's, to me, important in my life. That's who I go to. So I go to people who've had similar experiences. What other people think of me is none of my business. None of it. I don't give a shit what anybody thinks of me, they say about me. I don't read anything. All I care about is relating to somebody else about something we have in common. And in my case, what I'm sharing with you is that in many cases, it has to do with sobriety, being sober with another person. But that's a good example to bring up whatever it is, because that's ultimately where I'm safe. I'm safe. And I have been in recovery meetings with addicts who I've met in one day. And I feel closer to that person than often I do to many of my closest friends, because that person understands me better than they do. And that's where I go for my support for things that really matter.
Well, seriously, Jamie, I want to thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
so open-minded
Always.
and